Hi, I'm Emilia Nieminen, the maker of Inamorata dolls. In this video, we're finally going to complete the Femme Fatale style wig we've been working on. Last time we finished the actual wig making, and now it's time for the styling. Curling doll hair can be done in many different ways. Boil perming is my favorite method for artificial fibers like saran, and synthetic materials hold the curls best over time. However, nowadays I use alpaca and mohair almost exclusively for my wigs, and curling these has to be done just like human hair. We will be using a hot glue gun as a miniature curling iron. Note that this method isn't safe for synthetic hair as the heat might melt it. Always test your fibers first. I start by shaping the strand that falls over her face by holding it against the curve of the nozzle for a few seconds and releasing. Repeating this from opposite sides gives you a loose 20s finger wave look. Each fiber is different, so test it to see how long it takes until the hair holds the shape. Pick out small strands and wrap them around the hot nozzle. This gives you corkscrew curls that will relax into nice pin-curled vintage look. Be careful not to burn your fingers. I use a toothpick to hold the tips of the hair against the hot metal. See the difference in the curl styles? For 50s style wig, you want to keep the top flat and sleek, except for the flourishes on the front, so I'm starting the curls quite low, just below the ear level. You can curl long strands in parts, starting from the middle and holding that against the heat, then moving down to wrap the rest of the hair. If you wrap the strand first towards the tip of the nozzle and then heading upwards again, the hair will be less likely to slip off. There are heat tools with non-tapering heads, but for these videos I want to use tools that are easily accessible to all. Clean the nozzle regularly, especially if you're using hair products that make the metal sticky. Hair products meant for curling irons do help setting the curls, but I like to sketch the shape on the clean hair first and then set it later because, as usual, I'm designing as I go along. If you have a clean plan of what to do, you can use the products from the start and save a lot of time. However, it is best to practice a bit on clean hair if this is your first time doing this. As the curls add a lot of volume, this style looks best with naturally thinning tips, like we created for this wig. It's difficult to curl all the way to the end because working in miniature is so different from human hair, so I usually cut off the messy tips when I'm finished with the curling. Now it's just repetition, so I'll skip ahead. As you can see, I've curled all the hair in front and back, so now we have the foundation of the hairstyle built up. Looks kind of 70s, but we'll fix that when setting the hairstyle. I'm using a random brand scentless hairspray meant for human hair. Note that human hair products can damage synthetic hair, so for that I just use a bit of silicone spray to add shine, reduce flyaway hairs and tangling. I use the heat to touch up the ends as the hairspray sets, creating tight little burrows. The toothpick or similar tool helps you peel the curl off the nozzle without opening the curl or burning your fingertips. The size of the curl here is very much dictated by the tool, but luckily this is the size I want for this look. The curls are now set with spray, and hard as a helmet. Remember to keep the nozzle clean. I'll add a bit of spray underneath the flat parts of the hair before combing them sleekly down and running the heat element over the hair to set it. I'm pushing down towards the neck with the nozzle to lower the point where the curls begin and holding the hair down with my thumb as it sets and cools. This is sped up footage, so I'm actually going really slow with the heat element. I've now wandered to the edge of the screen, but bear with me. I always seem to forget the camera when I get to the detailed work. Here I'm shaping the lock that runs down the side of her face. This is the focal point of the wig, so it's kind of more sculpting than curling. Starting to look good, but you can see the untiny thin tips of each lock here. I will snip all of them off for a more finished look. I still feel there's a bit too much volume, so I tied an elastic around the neck and will use the heat to convince the hair to just stay flat. If you do not want to add hairspray, you can lightly mist some water on the area. I'm also retouching some curls, this time using chopsticks as I don't have the tips of the hair to hold on to anymore. Sure, I could have stopped here, but I am a horrible perfectionist and can obsess over useless details infinitely. It's fine to say that you're done here, it's already a nice wig. But am I actually done? Nope. I am just impossible, and this is why everything takes ages. I know things would go faster and easier if I made the same wig or garment over and over again, but that would take all the fun and creativity out of work. I love figuring things out as I go along. Life is constant learning. Removing the elastic to see if the style has set correctly this time. The back looks a bit untidy from being tied up, but you can use a toothbrush to smooth over the surface. I do not recommend a comb or brush at this point as there's way too much product in the hair. It would just undo all our hard work. It's also better to cut off flyaway hairs as the set hairstyle could be ruined if you start pulling on those. What I'm spraying here is actually just clean water to relax the hairspray so I can reset the hair again. I also have some hair gel on a toothbrush that I'm distributing into the wet hair to have a stronger hold. Not happy yet, so back goes the elastic. Now I'm really gonna get finicky. I add water diluted hair gel, extra strong hold so it's like glue, to a strand and gather it into a pin curl over the ear. Then I use sewing pins to hold it in place while it dries. This is a handy technique for precise details. I add more gel and tie the hair in place with elastic. If you're wondering what these bands are, they're leftover bits of string that hold the Inamorata dolls together. I use the different colour of elastics to match the skin tone of each doll. While I'm waiting for the top to dry, I'll add a bit of gel to the bottom curls that don't seem to stay tightly curled enough. I'm also pinning these in place. You can set each curl like this or just use it for few focal details. The pinning is also a great way to shape sleek hairstyles like 20s finger waves, where the wet hair is completely permeated with hair gel or varnish. Done! Kind of. You could be done. I actually set and reset the hair a few times after this, but I'm not going to torture you with it. There's nothing technically interesting about it, just me being, well, me. Can't have a hair out of place, literally. Instead, I'm going to reward you with the pictures of the finished wig on Inamorata Elsen, one of my one-of-a-kind dolls. You can see that the wigs changed shapes between the two photo shoots because I still wasn't happy with it. I'm impossible. If you want to turn this wig making series into a drinking game, just count the times I say nozzle. It's become a word that sends us into complete hysterics while editing. It's like my Pokemon name, Nuzzle Nuzzle, Nuzzle Nuzzle Nuzzle. See you next time. Thank you for watching and please support me by subscribing. And let me know in the comments what topic I should do next.